What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ and Bucky with you. Buck, we've got NCAA tournament going on right now.
Yeah.
How confident are you? Feeling good? Tar Heels, what are we looking like?
Look, man, I'm going to say this, and Hubert Davis has talked about this. It's a series of weekend tournaments, and we're just trying to get through this weekend, and then we'll deal with anything that comes after that later. For me, because the high schoolers, we got together, we did a bracket pool. I got all the high schoolers doing it, and you only have one bracket. So in my bracket, DJ, I had to make a decision. Do I go with my head or my heart when it comes to the Tar Heels?
You went with your heart, didn't you?
No.
You went with your head.
I did not.
You didn't take them all the way.
No, because I can't have, man, the high school, it's a different level of pressure when you got the high schoolers mouthing off. Yeah. So now
I got you.
Yeah, it's fun. But I love this time of year. There's no equivalent between the World Baseball Classic, between March Madness or whatever, man. I just love these single elimination. Let's get it done. Let's see how people react under pressure. It's a lot of fun to watch how people perform.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I did the little family bracket this year. That was it, which we've done. And my youngest son, who's 18, I posted it. Like, I'm not saying he's not taking it seriously, but personally, I don't see Long Island losing in the final. So, making a mockery of our pool. Maybe he's on. Maybe they go on a run.
I mean, however your point system lines up. I mean, if he goes big early.
Take out Arizona? Long Island going to take out Arizona?
So great.
Dang, man.
So great.
Did Lamar Odom go to Long Island? Where'd he go? Did he go there?
He went to Rhode Island.
There you go.
Yeah, he went to Rhode Island. I think him and Catino Mobley.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Rhode Island. Tyson Wilder, too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, it is also draft season, which means it's also pro day season. And the big pro day story that was out today was the fact that Spencer Fano's arms got longer, which I think we all kind of anticipated was going to be the case because the combine arm measurements there's a bunch of them that were really, really short compared to what guys had been measured at all-star games or in the spring by scouts. So a couple different thoughts there. I still think more teams will have him as an interior player than as a tackle. I think he can hold up and play right tackle. I think he'd probably be at his best at guard, but he can play right tackle. I don't know that this impacts that too much. It does help the tackle case, I guess, if you're, a little bit longer there, still just under 33 inches. But we talked about this before, but there is also, yes, the measurements were screwed up, I think, at the combine. But there's also, we were once members of the West Coast Mafia, Buck.
Hey, man, you do what you got to do.
When we all got big grades and we got to go back into those meeting rooms, it sure makes it easier when we get our arm guy and go, hey, bud, we got big grades on this guy.
Yeah.
And they killed us at the combine. You got to right some wrongs now. Whatever we got to do. Right some wrongs.
Come on now. Like, you got to make sure you measure it from the right place. I don't think they may have measured it from the right place at the combine. So make sure you get into that little thing or whatever like that. Right. Yeah. Make sure you get that. Yeah. No. Stretch your arms all the way out. Like, make sure it's all the way out so we get all 33 inches that we need to get them over the threshold. I will admit there may have been a player or two that might have come in at a 4.52 that maybe it looked at 4.49.
Yeah, that's a big difference on the card.
I mean, it's a big difference. 4.61 versus 4.59. Visually, it makes a difference. And so sometimes you're pencil whipping the numbers and the measurements to ensure that your guy has an opportunity to live on the board where you want him to live.
How many times have you seen that card up on the board where you got a corner who's 5'1", 189 with like 31 7/8 inch arms, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy was so close to looking just pristine up on that card. So close.
Yeah, little 6 foot. If we can get him to 6 foot, 191. Make sure that 40 time is right. Yeah, visually it's different. I just know, and he won't mind if I say this, John Fox in particular, like that last digit on the speed, he never paid attention to. He's a 4.5 guy or he's a 4.4 guy. Yeah. That's it. All that other stuff. So you got to make sure you play to your audience.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny. Well, on that note, let's get to It's Time for Hot or Not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage, because this has been kind of a theme that we've seen emerge from this draft, and that is trades and having multiple teams with first-round picks. And here we go again. Jaylen Waddle, he goes to Denver. Denver parts with pick 30. It was, a 3 and a 4. They got a 4 back. So here it is. Yeah, so it's 30, a 3 and a 4, and they got a 4 coming back their way from Miami. So I thought it made sense from Denver's standpoint. I don't know that there's anybody there that was going to move the needle for them for where they are in the roster building process right now. They're ready to go. So get Waddle, come in there, help them. And then I think Miami, I've said this previously, but I had just been told by a lot of people, not one person or two people, a lot of people, that Miami was 27, 27, 27. That's where their focus was. They go out and sign Malik Willis. My first reaction was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, they went to the top of the free agent quarterback market, and it was like, you saw the numbers come in. You're like, it was a little lower than we thought. I almost feel bad a little bit for Malik Willis in that, man, they're kind of stripping the cupboards bare here as they kind of look towards the future.
Yeah, they're stripping the cupboards bare, but let's also think about where they come from and what could be in play in terms of the weapons on the outside. So we have talked about that at some point there's going to be a reckoning at wide receiver where people are going to have to make a decision. Are we going to pay $40+ million for top receivers, or are we going to cycle them through with younger, cheaper models, because we've seen so many young wide receivers come in and have success right away? Given their experience in Green Bay, where up until last year where they took Matthew Golden, first-round pick, they've always been able to find receivers in those like outside the first round. Well, now you talk about Waddle, significant salary. You're going to have to redo this. Why not jumpstart that process by, hey, let's get younger and let's just always bring 1 or 2 receivers in every year? And because John Eric Sullivan, who is the son of Jerry Sullivan, one of the best wide receiver coaches that we've ever seen in the National Football League, they may feel like they can crack the code when it comes to finding a wideout, which might be why they were good with letting Tyreek Hill go and Jaylen Waddle go, when the outside world would say, oh, you let 2 of your premier receivers go. They may feel like they can develop guys that can give them that kind of production down the line.
Well, I think they got to find them in the draft. I'm looking at their roster. We have it. Gavin put it in the chat here with Tutu Atwell, Jalen Tolbert, Terrace Marshall Jr., Malik Washington, Taj Washington. Not scaring a lot of folks of that group, Buck. So they're gonna have to do something. Now they're armed with picks. They got 4 third-round picks in this to go along with the 2 1s.
Okay, because both of us have done the deep dive on this class. DJ, how many wide receivers have we seen and we said, hey man, this guy can be a day 2 guy? Like when we think about the number of wide receivers that can do it, I mean, you can go as far down when we talk about just the pure X's, right? You know, if you get a Ted Hurst from Jersey State, and you come back and you get a Antonio Williams that can play in the slot, like there's some confidence that you can find guys that can get it done. I feel like this class may not have like the superstar wide receivers that we talk about, the Jamar Chases and the like, but day 2, early day 3, there's going to be a run of wide receivers that are going to end up being very, very good players in this league for a long time.
Yeah, by the way, I talked to some guys who were at Georgia's Pro Day the other day, and a lot was made. The headliner was that when you have Delp, the tight end, ran 4.49, the person I talked to, but also said that Zachariah Branch had a phenomenal workout. So he'll be in that day 2 mix. Antonio Williams, I love, who you just mentioned from Clemson. There's Jeremy Bernard's a really good player out of Alabama.
DJ, there's so many guys that you can list and name, and that's where there's some confidence. For the Broncos, I think we all learn lessons from what leads us to eventually get knocked out the playoffs. The Broncos, for all of the great things they did last year defensively, offensively, they were up and down. And some of their best moments with Bo Nix happened when they were playing up-tempo. They kind of took the play sheet out of Sean Payton's hands and they let Bo Nix go. The problem that you have with the Broncos, there was no one on the perimeter that scared you. Like nobody that you, from a defensive standpoint, you have to go in there and say, hey, we need to make sure that we always have the safety leaning this way, or we need to cloud this way to make sure he doesn't get clean releases or free access. With Waddle, it changes a little bit. It kind of reestablishes or resets the pecking order, and it makes their offense a little more dangerous, particularly if they can get the run game going. I just feel like every team needs to have at least one receiver in the core that makes the defensive coordinator pause and be like, hey, how are we going to handle this guy in a one-on-one situation? Do we need to double him, bracket, kick to him, whatever that is? And Jaylen Waddle gives them someone with the speed and the explosiveness that you at least have to account for, and that should open up some other things in their offense.
Yeah, I'm excited for the fit there. I like it a lot, and they've tended to go big. Some of their wideouts, they like bigger body guys. This, Marvin Mims kind of is the undersized player in that group. Now this gives them a better version of Marvin Mims. And some of those, Sean Payton loves to dial it up. So you're going to have some opportunities to dial up some shots. And now you got a guy who can really, really go and make that happen. So I also think Bo is very comfortable. We go back to Oregon, the quick rhythm, get the ball in their hands, slants, get the ball and go. And that's Jaylen Waddle's been doing that since he was at Alabama. So that's something he's very comfortable with.
Yeah, no, he has been doing that. And we talk about the catch and run part of his game and how explosive he is. And when you go back and you think about Miami, a lot of what they did, people talk about the vertical shots and those things, but they lived in the horizontal world. The crossing routes, the bubble screens, the things that were catch and run and let them find a way to just create big play opportunities with their ability to maneuver in traffic. Waddle has that ability. And unlike anybody else that the Broncos had, they didn't have that ability to take a short pass and make it a big game. That changes the math. That makes life miserable for defense coordinators trying to figure out how to kind of throw a blanket over this offense.
By the way, if we did a little aside here, if we look at the bigger perspective here with that division, is this the first year in the last decade, I would say, that it's not like a cute pick to pick somebody other than the Chiefs to win the division? I think that Denver they'll be the unquestioned favorite in this division this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think, look, man, for so long, we talk about how the Chiefs have dominated the division. You talk about it being wide open. Honestly, DJ, the AFC is wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, when you saw the run that the Patriots went on, everyone would go into offseason workouts feeling like, hey, if we just tweak some things, we can have a chance. That's exciting, but I think the moves that people are making and backing up that optimism that is felt not only in the AFC West, but it's felt throughout that conference.
Yeah, no, it'll be a fun one to keep an eye on. By the way, that was Hot or Not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. All right, Buck, we've got 5 teams. We've got the Jets picking 2-16, Browns 6-24. Chiefs 9-29, Dolphins 11-30, Cowboys 12-20.
Interesting.
So we got a lot of teams doubling up this year. I want to kind of go through them one at a time here and tell me if we're not going to say, okay, they need these 2 positions. I'm just going to tell you we're going to make it one thing. They've got to get one thing accomplished with one of these 2 selections, and we'll let them be creative and go best player available and all that jazz with the other pick. But if I said, if you are the Jets, you have to come out of those 2 picks with one thing. What is it?
Playmakers, offensive and defensive playmakers. Both of those picks need to be guys that are impact players that can make a difference. I think the Jets years ago may have been the first team to have, or one of the only teams to only have 4 first-round picks. I think they were able to kind of parlay that into a lot of success. To me, they have to nail this year's first-rounders and next year's first-rounder. To me, it is about impact players on both sides of the ball. And I would use that number 2 pick, defensive impact player, that 16th pick. I'm looking for an offensive impact player, but if there's not one there that tickles my fancy, I'm going to go back and get another impact player. But I don't think it needs to be a quarterback. To me, it's about putting players on that roster, and we'll worry about the quarterback at a later date. Yeah,
I was going to say, to me, just pass rusher, get another pass rusher in there would be a big part of that whole deal. And you could say, the corner position is another spot that, after some of the moves that have been made, you could look for one of those. But to me, first and foremost, get the pass rush. You want to get the second receiver, to opposite of Garrett Wilson. I'm all for that. A lot of different options after that. But to me, I'd like to have that pass rusher in the fold, and then we go from there. And for them, the receiver question comes down to, what do they feel like in the building on A.D. Mitchell? Yeah. Because if A.D. Mitchell feels like a legitimate player to them, then you don't necessarily need to expend the first-round pick there. You can go elsewhere. But you're right. We talk about it all the time. They don't necessarily need home runs, but they got to hit 2 doubles. They got to hit 2 doubles. You got to advance the run and find a way to get them over the plate. They need to make sure that they nail these 2 picks. Browns 6-24. It's not a secret. It seems to be tackle and receiver, definitely on the offensive side of the ball, and tackle specifically left tackle. I talked about it when we were going over the mock draft. Like that to me is the gamble. How do you want to play it? Because you can get the top receiver in the draft right there. You got a good shot at getting the top receiver, whoever you love the most, there at 6. But now you got to gamble a little bit and hope that the tackle makes it to 24. So that's, and then maybe you can be aggressive and move up from 24 if you want, or you could just say, I'm going to get the tackle on the boat right now, even if it's a little earlier than maybe we have a guy graded. We got to get the tackle in the fold.
Yeah, this is interesting because we talk about it and the value. If we look at supply and demand, the supply is much greater on the wide receiver side. So that would lead you to take, hey, let's get the tackle first and come back and find the receiver because the drop off is not as significant. The thing about it and what kind of makes it difficult this year is when we think about tackles, we always think about the left tackle. We think about the premier guy. The guys at the top of the board are right tackles. So they
need a left.
And so do you gamble? And let's just throw the name out there, Monroe Freeling.
Yeah.
Right. So we talk about the pure left tackles or the guys that have those traits. So it's Monroe Freeling, it's Caleb Lemieux. Like, who are we comfortable taking in the top 10 at tackle? That's the question mark. And if you're uncomfortable taking one of those guys there, are you better served? Do you feel better about taking Carnell Tate at 6? That's the conversation that you have to have in the building. Yeah.
And I ended up putting Carnell Tate in my last one. I think if you're in the room and you're really going back and forth, you probably would get to the point where you're comfortable moving the tackle up just for the sake of need. I did talk to, again, some guys who were at Georgia's Pro Day, said Monroe Freeling had a much better workout. If you remember the combine, he was slipping all over the place in the field workout. I don't think he had the right cleats on, to be honest. But he ran well, tested well, but the field workout was not super exciting. So I don't think offensive line workouts are the be-all, end-all. He hasn't played a ton of football. There's some struggles early. He played well late. It's again, I'm going to use this line a lot. It's a pick for 27, Buck. You have to realize you're going to live with some lumps. You take him with the 6th pick. I'm telling you, week 5, Browns fans are going to be going like, "Oh my gosh, what are we thinking? He's not ready."
Okay, so let's make it as simple as like what you and I would do because you have your top 50 and those things. What's the difference between Carnell Tate and Monroe Freeling in your top 50?
Oh yeah, that's a pretty decent sized gap there. I have Carnell Tate as my 6th player, and Monroe Freeling is my 20th player. It's a gap of 20 spots.
That says it all, DJ. Like when I talk about
20, 14 spots. Sorry.
Yeah, when I talk about like A pluses in terms of like where he rates, and so Carnell Tate would be an A plus, and then Monroe Freeling I have it as like a B plus player. Like that's a huge difference. Like that's what it is. To me, if we're staying true to it and we take the need out of it, Carnell Tate is a much better player than Monroe Freeling. But we have to feel, if you're the Browns, as soon as you make that pick, how do we get in range to make sure we get the tackle that we want somewhere in the first round?
Yeah, I've been in, as you have, but I've been in those rooms and I've made the arguments of, hey, this is the best player. He's a better player. We say we're about best player available. This is the one. And then this is what happens is the offensive coordinator or the offensive line coach been in the room, and you've heard these conversations too. Said, and this is the great way that I remember hearing this of, well, that's great, but we're going to be out there September 9th, and then we're going to be running out of tunnel, and they go starting lineups, and we only got 10 guys because we don't have anybody to play left tackle. So I'm all for best player available, but we're going to be playing 10 on 11 because we don't have one. And if we don't take him at 6, we are not going to see him at 24. So that's what inside the draft room, you've been in there, you've heard that stuff.
Yeah, no, it does become that. And as the coaches are now being included in the process, it does become more of a, hey, we need to be ready for the September game as opposed to, no, this is a 3-4 year plan. How can we build the best team that we can build? I will say the mistakes that most people make is when they get away from
you get need focused
the player and you become need based. That's when you make mistakes. And so in that scenario, we're talking about Carnell Tate, and look, man, Tate's a no brainer. You get the playmaker, then figure out a way to come back and get the tackle.
Yeah, that would be the cake and eat it too. To me, is you keep an eye on really the two left tackles are him and Lomo, and then, I think.
And what's the difference? And then you got to figure out, well, what's the difference between Freeling and Lomu? Like, are we confident if Freeling's gone? How do we go? We're good. And then is there another one that we can throw in there? Do we feel like we can put Blake Miller and we'll feel comfortable about him?
But to me, he's a right. I like him. Yes. I like Blake Miller better than those guys. But to me, he's a right tackle. And if you're specifically looking for a left, those are the two lefts. I don't think Proctor's going to end up staying at left. You've got Iheanacho could maybe kick over there, but I think he's down another tier. So
that's
a challenge.
That's the challenge that the Browns have when it comes to it, and we'll see how it plays out.
All right, Chiefs 9-29, Buck. One thing they got to have.
Well, they took care of major need when they got the running back early. To me, DJ, I'm sitting there looking. Juwan Taylor's out. A right tackle would be perfect.
Trust me, I said it too, but I got the Chiefs fans do not want anything to do with that because they paid Jaylen Moore. And my thing was, I know you've paid him. I know he's your starting right tackle right now. I watched the tape. He was not very good. Not very good. So I mean, sometimes you got to take your medicine and say maybe we overpaid on that one.
Yeah, I mean they've been trying to get this right, and it's been the thing that has been an albatross around their neck when it comes to Pat Mahomes' play and how he's been most effective. People talk about the removal of the playmakers. I would say it's been the dip and the decline of the offensive line that has hindered him more. He is running for his life in the pocket. And now you talk about someone coming off an ACL. I want to make sure that the king is protected. I'm looking at finding a way to get an offensive line that we can upgrade and build. We have to get a tackle, and right tackle in particular. Yeah,
but we'll see what they end up doing there. I also think, the depleted secondary, they've got a lot of good young players. Noah Williams, I think, is going to be a stud for them. And your buddy Dave Mayer does such a good job of developing these guys, man. He gets punished for it. We don't need one in the first, buddy. We'll get you one on day 2. So we'll get to the Dolphins 11-30. We touched on them earlier. I don't know that it's a necessity that 11 or 30 is a wideout just because of what we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, here's what I would say, and it won't happen. But what I would love for the Miami Dolphins to do is somewhere in there, maybe it's early. I would love to see them get a playmaking tight end. Last year, Darren Waller, when you look at right now on their depth chart, they have no one at tight end that scares you at all. And I'm not saying that the first pick of your rebuild era needs to be a tight end, but somewhere in there, I would like to see him get a tight end that can make plays. And at the back of the first round, maybe Sadiq is there. Maybe you have an opportunity to upgrade the middle of the field because wide receiver, playmaker, they need more playmakers on offense to offset what they have in the backfield with Achane. And I'm just thinking about, we paid a lot of money for Malik Willis, regardless of where we say it was a discount or not. Still want to get him going. I want to get his tail kicked. And in Green Bay, they had multiple tight ends that could make the game easy for him. I want to make sure I can replicate some of that.
Also thinking in the secondary, they could do some things there. Caleb Downs would make some sense for them too, where they're picking. Lastly, the Cowboys 12-20. One thing.
We need a linebacker, man. We need linebacker. We need secondary help, but I need a linebacker. I need a linebacker that can come play. We're still chasing the ghost of Michael Parsons. We've been chasing it forever. We let him go. And as soon as we let him go, we're looking for Michael. Where you at? They need someone that can make plays, off-ball linebacker who can be dynamic and explosive. And, I mean, before he popped and blew up the combine, we thought maybe Sonny Styles would kind of be close enough.
No chance.
He's not going to be there. So now, how do they find a backer or a playmaker that can do it? So they need a linebacker and they need more pass rush. They got to have people that can get after it. They've been trying to do it, Vic Fangio's system and those things, but they got to have some more playmakers.
Yeah, good at DT, but getting somebody off the edge would be nice, and corner will be another place they could go there. So I think, to me, that one of these picks in this draft, I think you have to have a pass rusher or a corner has to be one of these picks here.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, yes, you're looking at someone that can get after the passer, and then to do it, I would say what I'm thinking in terms of I'm gonna go get the edge rusher first. I think the corners, the value of the corners are more likely to fall right where you're at with the second first round pick in the 20s. It makes more sense, whether it's Terrell or any of those guys, Colton, whoever you like, whoever's your preference. At 20, the value matches the talent and the evaluation more so than at 12. And
the only challenge is going to be, Buck, the top 3 are gone. So if Bain's gone, Bailey's gone, Reese is gone. So now you have to be comfortable. To me, the next guy is Mesidor, the 12th pick.
Oof. Oof. Okay, so
that's why then it's like Jermod McCoy.
Man,
to me, I just had to have a higher grade on McCoy at that point in time, even though he missed.
And so my thing with McCoy, are we gonna see him work out? Or are we just? I mean, it was just a wing and a prayer. Like, I mean, we're gonna see him move around at all. Like that's why he's a bit of a mystery. Even in the top fives, when I'm going through it,
him and like, Jordan Tyson are both like that. I struggle with it.
Like, are we gonna go through the entire process and not see him move around? And the thing about Tyson, at least we saw him play this year. Like McCoy, we haven't seen him.
Yeah,
we just haven't seen him, man. I love the game and I love the talent, but man, sight unseen for a year, like it's just hard. But I know Jamar Chase and guys have done it. It's just challenging in a different way.
Man, Jordan Tyson's a tough one too, though, man. Like that.
Oh yeah, DJ, no doubt. And I love his game, but the injury.
Oh, I love him. I love him as a player, but it's just like he's like you go to the store and it's got 10% off. Like he's going to take 10% of the season is off. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It just worries me.
Yeah,
in the first round, high in the top half of the first round.
It should.
That's a real deal, man. And people can try and take a victory lap on Tyler Shuck last year. Hey, the team that took him didn't feel comfortable taking him up there at the top because of the injuries. It wasn't the age, it was the durability. And it wasn't the performance or the talent. That was all there.
I'm going to tell you now, that is the funniest thing. The victory lap over Tyler Shuck to me is like, I'm like, yo, it's a 7-year player. Like who, like with a bunch of injuries, like who in their right mind was, oh, no, he should have gone for it. Like, man, like.
They married the value with the player properly, and they've hit on him so far. But I mean, we still haven't seen him for a full season yet. We got to get there, but that's the whole thing.
It's a lot easier to assume the risk on a second round pick than a first round pick, because if it doesn't go, you're like, okay, it was a second rounder, guys. Like we're fine. Yeah. But first rounders, we got to nail. We talk about singles and doubles. We have to nail the first rounder. We can't gamble away the first rounder.
At least your first rounder. Like, it's one thing with the first one, get that one in the boat, but maybe that'll free up some of these teams that have all these double picks that they can take some of these flyers. They get one in the boat there. All right, there you go. That's a fun look at some teams doubling up in first round picks. Buck, anything else you want to throw in here before we get out of here?
Nah, that's fun, man. Look, the draft is going to be an exciting one. And as we get closer, within a month of watching what takes place, these guys are the power brokers. Those 2 first round picks can come. They can bring a lot of things in return if you sit and pick or if you move around. It's going to be interesting.
Yep. All right. We'll wrap it up here. We'll have another episode coming your way where we'll jump into Bucky's updated top 5s and we'll rip through those. So be on the lookout for that. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.